Well, I guess I'm doing some versus battle power scaling content again now. Woo! So as usual, there's two ways you could look at this, Doylist or Watsonian. From a Watsonian perspective, I think Samus probably beats Tony Stark. I don't usually like Watsonian analysis because it's just comparing feats and that's not my bag. But at the end of Metroid Dread, Samus has full control over Metroid powers, presumably. And again, presumably, after absorbing all the X from Metroid Fusion and post-Metroid Fusion, cold resistance probably isn't a problem. So then Samus goes up against Tony Stark in whatever armor he has, absorbs whatever energy he's using, and the battle's basically over. It's just two people in power armor, except one has the ability to absorb any energy you could think of. That may be inaccurate, but again, I'm not really a Watsonian. I am a Doylist, and I think if we were going to create a story where Samus fights Tony Stark would lose. Tony Stark is often characterized as someone in the Marvel universe that needs to lose, that needs to be knocked down a peg. I mean, for those of you who aren't familiar with the comics, just look at the MCU. He was the guy who eventually had to sacrifice himself. Sure, that was a win, but he died. In the comics, you have all of his problems with alcoholism, the multiple times that his armors have betrayed him, Dr. Doom beat him, Captain America beat him. Like, he loses a lot. He's brilliant, but he's also an icon of hubris. He is Icarus flying too close to the sun, and the sun has to burn him for that narrative to work. Samus, on the other hand, doesn't have as much characterization as Tony Stark, but the positions he's been put in have always been clear. Get the job done. Do the job no one else is going to do. Save the universe. She's vulnerable, she's mortal, but in the end, even if she doesn't have her power armor, look at Metroid Zero Mission, she is willing to do what needs to be done to defeat whatever threat there is to the universe. If Tony Stark is that threat, she will likely prevail. My guess, if I were to spitball an easy plot here, Tony somehow gets a hand on Chozo technology, builds his own power armor out of it, faces off against Samus, who knows the technology better than him and is able to shut it down. Only after a big, prolonged, cool battle, though. Tony Stark gets burned by the sun, destroyed by his own hubris. Samus Aran wins by doing what she has to do. The plot motivations of both characters are fulfilled.